Alright guys, here we are back outside. Wanted to do this video a couple days ago, but the weather was not having it. So we've got from BattlBox Mission 91 the Outdoor Elements Phoenix Talon. Now this was a knife I didn't like, if you recall, and I'll link the actual unboxing video in the up here and the video description if you want to check it out. Now, two knives from Outdoor Elements came. I was not thrilled with the other one for my reasons that you can check out in the other video. But I kind of liked this one, which is interesting because this is normally not my kind of knife, not my style. But it had some interesting features. We've got the replaceable gut hook over there, which also functions great as a line cutter. And it's, you know, I commented, it's not that hard to sharpen these things. It's really not that hard to sharpen these things. But I guess there are people that either don't have the skill or just don't want to. Maybe they flat out don't want to mess with the ceramic rod or a steel rod or something in there. So you can just replace that. I'm not going to take the handles off now, but internally here there's a storage compartment, and Outdoor Elements sells some interesting accessories that you can put inside the handle. It's got a nice grip to it. It's got a really nice grip to it. Wide to fill out your palm, but not overly chunky, which, you know, sometimes knives that have a nice wide grip end up being chunky in your hand, but this just gives you a nice firm grip. Obviously, this is a hunting, skinning kind of knife, but they also tell you it's kind of an outdoors knife. D2 steel, which is a perfect kind of steel for outdoors use, holds an edge well, takes an edge well to put it back on, assuming the heat treating is done properly. Okay, that's a big caveat there. In the original unboxing video, we tested the edge. It was very nice right out of the box. One thing I'm noticing now is that the bevel is not exactly even as put on from the factory. That's something that a lot of people would not be happy with and that they would want to fix on their own. For our purposes right now, we're just going to go with it. Kydex sheath with a very firm clip that has great retention factor in the way it's designed. It's going to clip on your belt or wherever else you put it, and it's going to stay there. You've got a little, I'd say, fine to light medium sharpening strip there. And overall, the options that this gives you in terms of different ways to grip it and hold it are really, really nice. Firm control over that blade. And you've got a sparking wheel built right in. And we're going to test that out in terms of starting a little fire here with Stumpy as we go. But the first thing I wanted to test out, I really wanted to test out, now I'm not a big hunter, and most of you guys know that. It's just not a thing I've ever really gotten the opportunity to get into. So I don't have a lot of experience, you know, field dressing kills and skinning, but I do have a lot of experience cutting meat because I like meat. So I figured that a good way to just test out this edge and see how finely we can cut and separate some tissue from some other tissue is I love meat. I got a beautiful skirt steak here from Giant, and we're gonna cut into this thing, and we're gonna remove a little fat. We're gonna cut a little around. We're gonna see how well the grip on this works as we're cutting finely through some meat. You know, it's the test I can do. So, because I don't have anything to skin, I tell you, I've had very sharp kitchen knives not cut as cleanly and easily through this plastic as this thing just did. So, and yeah, I am actually going to eat this later. So, I am interested in this going well. Skirt steak is a great cut of meat if you're not familiar. Not as expensive as flank, but boy is it flavorful, and on a grill or even just a cast iron, cut it up, make jerky out of it, it's great. But you see it's got a lot of fat on it. Comes a little more fatty than say flap or flank. So cutting this stuff off is, I like to trim it pretty well before I cut it. So using this in its skinning form, let's see how finely we can trim this up and remove that fat while leaving the meat. And yeah, I feel like I've got very good control over the front curve of the belly there. And it is out of the box. Now, I get, guys, you're going to comment, this isn't exactly how you would skin anything. I know. But again, this is the testing that I can do with this thing right now. And it just shaves the fat right away. We are going to cut through the actual meat in a minute, you know, to simulate cutting through muscle tissue and stuff, because after all, that's what meat is. But I've got very good control throughout the blade, especially the forward curve. And I'm really not losing much meat here. It's just the fat is going away. Which is exactly what I want to do with this cut of meat. Now, I know when you lose fat, sometimes you lose flavor, but on this particular cut, losing this fat just kind of helps it not curl up so much when you cook it. It doesn't take a lot of the flavor away. Just FYI. So like these big chunks, we can lose them, and we don't lose a lot of the flavor of the meat. So this is working out very well for what I want it to do. Yeah. And again, it's letting me cut nice and shallow, and I'm actually able to maintain really good control of where the curve on that blade goes. So I'm happy. Cutting through the actual meat itself, let's see. Pretty nice. You just push it straight through. Very nice, clean cuts. I like it. So again, I recognize that what I'm doing is not exactly skinning anything, but it does cut very cleanly, very easily, and as I've said before, with a lot of excellent fine control over where the tip of that blade goes. So I'll put this aside. I'm not even going to clean the knife, because we're going to pretend that we are out in the field somewhere doing some stuff. Here is a branch that it was a young sapling. We did this with the BPS knife. It has dried, and then it's been rained on, and so it's got some field conditions. Now, recognizing again, this is really intended mostly as a hunting knife, a skinning knife, but it is dealing with the wood pretty nicely. And what I want to do is it is not the ideal shape or grind at all for what I'm doing here, but the handle does let you get good leverage on the blade. This would not be my chosen, my one and only field knife. But the handle is fairly comfortable. The blade is fighting me a little bit because that curve does not want to work in a straight down motion. But again, I'm asking it to do things right now that it was not really designed for. But we want to see if it'll do it. I don't know if I would try to do a full feather stick with this. It doesn't have the full leverage or grind to want to cut real deep into the wood. But if I just wanted to start a fire, I mean, I guess it does. It doesn't feel real good doing it, but this is what I want to do. I want to start a fire with it. Got a piece of cotton here. And And this is a kind of gelled piece of cotton. I should be able to catch pretty easily, but almost like feather sticking this. So I can rough it up and expose some of the fibers in there for the sparking. There we go. And I mean, this should, with the sparking wheel, this should catch pretty nicely. Let's see how this goes. Now, all the videos I've seen have this igniting like a camping stove. It's almost... Come on. I feel like we're 1 or 2 sparks away from this actually igniting. There we go. Give it a little blow. And if we were to pile some more on there, I think we would start a pretty good fire, even with this wood being a little bit damp. So it's going to do 2 of the main things we needed to do. It's going to help us with food. It's going to help us with fire. Fire cooks food, fire keeps us warm, and like I said, although it's not the ideal shape, could we do, that blade will do some chopping for us. Would not, again, not my first choice, but could it physically do it? Yeah. That's going to stay smoldering for a little bit. So, like I said, I'm not doing a whole lot on this. I wanted to do some very basic tests on this. And, I mean, we could try to do a little batoning with some light wood on it. I know I just said batoning, and here I am. I'm chopping this to try to get a nice even end to rest the wood on. Chop that pretty nice. Oh, you guys didn't even see that. It wasn't even on camera because I screwed it up. But yeah, I was able to baton through, you know, like I said, a light piece of wood. Just for the sake of making some firewood or doing some little light building, maybe building a small shelter, pegs or something else related out in the wilderness. Blade holds up pretty well for that. So, while I first looked at this design and I said, not my thing, I don't know. I think this has a lot of potential, and I kind of like it. Again, hunting, skinning, not my thing, but this blade, even though it's designed for a thing, can do multiple things for us. So I think it's pretty cool. I think the price tag on this was $119, which I just saw the made in China, which I'm not surprised about at all, but I think it's a decent blade. Yeah, it's my dinner, so if I get grody stuff on it, it's okay. Still very easy to cut through. I mean, we could cut paper with it again, but this is what it's meant to cut. So I don't feel like there's any loss of edge or anything there. slices through the fat, easy. No problems. We didn't do a whole lot, but if it's bad edge, and it's bad D2, and it's bad heat treat, we would know it right away. So, not bad. Not bad. So I just want to do a follow-up. I said I would. Wanted to check it out and give it a little bit of outdoor time. What do you guys think? I think I'm always glad when we get a decent knife of the month in BattlBox. That always makes me feel better. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Please let me know. And thanks again to Steve who bought the BattlBox and let this test happen and everything. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.